Alright, we're back with Texas 2A video, and I'm going to be covering what I had to do to get this little guy to run as efficiently as I wanted. This is a Palmetto State Armory upper and lower. That is the Generation 3, so it's got one of the later model hybrid bolts, and it does work pretty well, but I was having problems with trying to get this thing to cycle what I was wanting, which is trash. It took everything I wanted to eat with as far as ball ammo went, but unfortunately, when it came to some of my flat tip stuff, such as these guys right here, I was having problems with some of the feeding issues. See that right there? It's a little flat tip. This is 124 grains. It was hand rolls, and they work in my Glocks and all of my 9mm, my Janik, my Creed, my XDMs. I mean, everything I had 9mm handguns, it would work efficiently. These guys here are not traditionally designed for pistol caliber carbine style. They are rifle caliber systems with direct impingement. So this is also a blowback design. This one is a 10.5 inch upper. I do have a SB3 adjustable. It's one of the nicer ones since it is adjustable and not just fixed. It's outfitted with the whatever the heck light I got for this thing, 45-degree irons, but I'm learning not to overlook this guy. This is a AT3. It does, let's see, it's got a CR123 battery. It's 2 MOA, 50,000 hour battery life with the lowest setting. It's got 6 settings on it. It has something I don't think I'll use. This little guy here, it does have a laser built onto it. This thing is reasonably priced, about 120 bucks. So not to be overlooked. I thought since it's not a big quality name brand like EOTech, Vortex, Aimpoint, all your high-end stuff, that I had overlooked this for a while. I got suggested to try it among some other things whenever it came down to looking for optics. Was one of the fellow guys on one of the AR groups on Facebook. But yes, I'm very pleased with this. Hell, I might even make a review of it just so people are a little more aware of decent optics that, you know, yeah, they're over 100 bucks. They're what we consider budget, but they are, you know, they're not a $20 airsoft piece of crap. But these right here always fed very well. It's just a little low hollow point, but it's round. The round nose stuff in here was feeding phenomenally. But when I got to eating that stuff there, and this is one of my other problems, was this is some Ammo Valley little hollow point plinker. This is not, you know, like home defense round. It was jamming up. It was forcing the projectile into the casing, and on my hand loads, on factory loads, stuff like this. So I did some research, and they do offer this on Palmetto State Armory. Right now it was in stock. I'm not going to say it's going to be in stock forever, because Palmetto State Armory stuff, if you're a fan of their daily deals and all that wonderful stuff that they sell for cheap with damn good deals, you will find it to say this little thing called out of stock temporarily. So, you know, we get bit on the butt for stuff like that when we want it. Unfortunately, we can't have it. So, grab my little light here, see if you can see it. This does require some adjustment. You will find on Palmetto State Armory, the reviews will have people telling you that you do have to modify the bolt carrier in order to fit, because I'm wanting to say I have to get with Chad Wiley or maybe the engineers with Palmetto and see what they say. I know for a fact another review that I'm going to do over the Colt lower for the AR9, that guy, you do have to modify the bolt just a little bit on the Gen 3 and older bolts. This one, as you can see, wow, I say as you can see, all right, right there. See that little 45-degree angle? That's not factory. That's something I did to clear this little guy right here. See this? This is the feed ramp, all right? Now, this thing's dirty as can be from the range today. This, you have to actually machine the sides right here. You see it hanging out? This little bitty shiny fella here. All right, where my finger's at. That right there, I marked it, scribed it. I utilized my Dremel, so I don't have to go out in my shop. I have a lot of tools in the shop. I don't like going out in the shop if I don't have to. Whenever it's, you know, this is Texas down here. The weather can be unforgiving. And sometimes I'm lazy and doesn't want to, you know, take myself outside. But a little bit of machining, you can lay it in there. You can scribe where it's going to be. And if you're like me and you happen to play with all kinds of wonderful toys, you have stuff like this, little micrometer here. It's set for standard, metric, millimetros, all that good stuff. You can actually measure the thickness of the Taccom feed ramp, and then you can scribe it. You'll know that's how far you can go down. I utilized my wonderful handy dandy Walmart Dremel. I think I got it from Walmart. I may be lying. Might have come from Home Depot. Jesus knows. Had it for years. It works great. I use that with a regular cutoff style wheel. That way I could come in and then I could repeatedly enter how far I wanted to go and then move back again and again. Take a little bit at a time. And then once I got to the ballpark, I was able to utilize one of my fabulous little my handy dandy files that are not handily available for me to show off. But it worked perfect. You take your time with it. You get it where you want. Set it in place. It doesn't fit. You know, in and out, in and out. Take your time. It probably took me, I want to say 30 minutes maybe to get it where I was really happy with it. And then I could test feed it. I found this little fella here was making contact. If I remember right, I was reading reviews and they were telling me, and the general, whoever else is interested, that yes, it made contact with this. Like I said, I wish I already knew the information with PSA. I may have talked to Chad and he not got back with me on it. But this isn't a big deal for someone that's capable. For you guys that, you know, some guys, y'all are not comfortable machining on stuff that you played with, that you paid money for, you want to play with it. Some of us are, some of us don't care. We're comfortable, you know. So if you can, find your friend, you know, if you're having problems with stuff like this, do what you do. But I know since I don't have a good camera yet, you might not be able to see, but inside of there, yeah, it's horrible. The transition from the Taccom feed ramp to the actual insert for the bullet, what we call a chamber, there's still, unlike an AR has a feed ramp. Whenever it goes to feed, they have dual feed ramps. You will see the, what is it? Give you an example here, utilizing the future review after this. All right, this right here, all right, this feeds right and left as the ammunition raises as it gets used. That's what happens for those of you that aren't aware, because I, for all purposes of doing these videos, I like to explain things for those that you don't know, you don't understand. This is a Glock magazine. All right, it's 10 millimeter, doesn't matter, it's irrelevant. But it is Glock pattern, all right? Glock is going to stagger into a single profile at the top, all right? Unlike this guy, it's going to feed right and left, all right? The AR was originally designed like this. This being 9 millimeter, I think this is more efficient because any of your sub guns you usually look at, one of the more recent Streebog, your older stuff, and you name it, this is Colt pattern. Whenever they did this in the AR9, is what we call it. 9mm AR, you go way back. Your MP5s, your current stuff, your Scorpions, your MPX, they're utilizing a dual feed system, so it's going to have either option A, 2 feed ramps, that's traditional for an AR, or option B, 1 wide feed ramp, which is what this has for the Colt pattern. So, this guy here, being a single feed ramp, it does not have the single feed ramp just like a handgun. A handgun has a single feed ramp to help guide the bullet, because it's, any of your handguns are usually going to be traditionally a single feed system, Glock or not. XDM 1911 is a single stack, so I have no choice usually unless you go to the 2011. It's a modern thing, whatever. Another discussion later on. But this is utilizing ancient technology from the 80s of Glock that carried over to today that's still very good and dependable. Tons of options. But the feed cone is a complete radius. So unlike an AR, whenever you install an AR barrel, It's going to usually have the ramps in it, and you have to actually align that with everything else that's going on. Trying to remember. Anyway, I might be wrong. I'm a little bit sleepy here. It's getting late, but anyway, regardless, this has a feed cone. So the cone is 360 degrees, and it's kind of a general get the barrel in, torque it down with your ring, and you can run and gun with it, assuming everything is aligned right and wants to feed. Not the case with this. So Taccom feed ramp helps hit that nose and get it starting to go up. I was finding that this little dude right here, along with some of my other options of a flat tip, they still weren't having it. These right here were giving me nightmares. Three is being nice about it. I doubt it. It's probably 5 times per mag, if I even made it through a mag and didn't give up, all right? And I don't want a system that can't eat brass. If I got a system that won't eat steel case, I can try to talk myself into dealing with it maybe. Not likely, all right? So Taccom feed ramp still was having issues. So what did I do? I went in, took the feed ramp back out, and I ever so slightly gently with my almighty Dremel machined the difference where the feed cone ran in from the barrel, the actual chamber to the flat surface. You know, it was 90 degrees. They added the feed cone all the way around. I radiused the area between. So right there from straight up with the feed ramp, all right, I took out that point. It's not a point per se, but it was a rough transition that could catch on this. So I did that. I was scared, did some research, and one guy, he went overboard, I guess. He just went a little bit too far. He flew too close to the sun and got burned. But his saving grace is being a 360 degree feed cone. He was able to take the barrel nut off, spin it, and get it back where it needed to be. I'd be lying on research. I should have wrote it down. But I'm trying to remember if he ended up going back to what he had or tried just a feed ramp, the Taccom. It might have worked for him. I don't know. Me being me, I did what I did, and it worked out phenomenally. Just that little bit of transition, get rid of it, got this to where I couldn't cycle these by hand before to save my life. I was able to cycle through 33 round stick magazines of this, Glock mags, ETS mag, and the SGM. I do have some KCIs. The KCIs have proven to not be reliable to me. Someone did mention a wolf spring. I don't know if they mentioned a follower or not, but it's supposed to upgrade that to where it does work reliably. I haven't got there. I need to. I don't like having crap in my safe that is a big fat pile of worthlessness. But so far it's been flawless all day. I mean, this thing did not skip a beat once I installed this feed ramp and just ran it. Let's see, what was it? I went over the good stuff here. This lower does have an enhanced trigger. Let's see. Yeah, Dremel, small hand file to finish all that good stuff up. Everything's been mentioned as far as I know of. I couldn't be happier with this. This optic, being an AT3, it is waterproof. It's, I mean, lifetime warranty. Mentioned the laser already. It's a laser enabled optic sight, LEOS, for the AT3. So if you're interested, maybe I'll do a review on this just for the people that search for this and want to know some insight on it. I might have to pull it off and put it on an AR with a 5.56, which I have my KS47, so put it on that, something that thumps a little harder, maybe even a 308. I don't know, I don't like pulling my 3x9 off of the 308, you know, for that, but to beat this thing around and really give you a good review on it, I kind of feel dedicated and need to do that. That way, if it survives the 308, you know it'll probably survive anything, with exceptions of very, very few. But I'll roll in some footage if I've got it of this. I believe I do. Like I said, it ran great. I mean, zero regrets for putting that thing in here and taking that radius and giving a little bit of help. Hopefully I'm not killing you guys on lack of being able to see what I did in there. It's the general transition from the chamber to the 90 degrees where your cone's at, where it comes in and drops down to that cone. That's where I just gradually took out that transition that was sharp. I say I use the term sharp loosely because this isn't sharp where this is. So I just smoothed out that transition, and that has this thing running 100%, as well as, like I mentioned, having to take out this little guy here, 45 degrees. I kept setting it in there gently until I got it to make contact, pull it back out, grind it again. I also made sure with my lower, with this installed, took the bolt out of my hand, set it on top of the lower, and ran to make sure I was still going to get the pickup needed to catch the back of the rounds, and it did. So took out that little bit. If someone is curious, I can gladly mic this for you, mic top to bottom, and then show you exactly where I'm at. But it's 45 degrees and, you know, probably 25 or 30 thousandths. It's not a lot. So for you DIY guys like myself that like to make things work and I have to spend extra money if it's not necessary, it's worth the $20 if you have the grinding equipment to be able to get in there and play with it. Some of y'all are going to have mills and all kinds of awesome stuff I don't have that I would like to have one day, but this will work as it is to eat all kinds of junk instead of just ball ammo. Ball ammo is fine, but some of us want to be able to run other stuff. I mean, it's that simple. But this is some Ammo Valley stuff, and it was cheap, and it ran in everything except this one and the other one that now has a Glock dedicated lower, which I'm going to go over that next. Stick with me. I think I have some footage of this. If I don't, I'm sorry. I don't know if you even care to see it, but my report is that the Taccom feed ramp, it's good to go. I did the review on that mainly because when I searched for it, I had like a handful of reviews, and I need some people that would say, hey man, yeah, this works, not just they were just jaw-jacking about nothing special. Like, I say handful, I want to say it was like 3 reviews maybe over the Taccom feed ramp, which is available. Palmetto State Armory had them. Current day, today is the 28th, 29th of April. And when I looked, they did have them. I ordered mine. I wanted to order 2, but I was like, you know what, let me run it. Let me try it and give them my extortion fee for how much I'd pay. But as far as prep goes, all right, I cleaned the crap out of this. Once I had this thing fit and snug as I wanted, I took my file and I took my contact surface that was going to mount to the back side, and I roughed that up with the file so it would have something, because I used epoxy known as JB Weld. Used JB Weld quick. I should have used I think the other stuff used to set overnight stronger. I didn't care. I just wanted to try this. I was excited. So far it won't pop out. It's holding. But I also took the ramp stainless, and I took the back side of it where they were going to mate together, and I scuffed it up real good with the file. I made sure that it would have a chance, and so far it has not fallen out. I've got the bolts so close I was worried that it was still actually kind of tapping on the back of the feed ramp, and it's not. It's doing very good. Hasn't fallen out on me yet. Hopefully it never will. I was kind of scheming on other ways to make this thing be permanent should I want to, drilling and tapping and whatever, but so far she's holding. She's doing fantastic. There's probably better epoxies out there, but do it. If you want to run one of these reliably, if you found ammunition that will not feed it, this has been a solid answer. Maybe you've got a better barrel. I don't know what barrel that PSA is using. They do a ton of in-house stuff, but a ton of their stuff is not in-house. There are dedicated barrels. If you're one of those guys that has the extra $100 some odd for a barrel that you know's got a feed ramp that you can't line up with it that will work minty, do that if you can. You know, if you just don't want to mess with something like this, you don't want to mess up your upper. Because I mean, I'm grinding on an upper that was originally perfect. Now I've had an issue with it. I don't know what Palmetto State Armory would say. They might say, hey, you grind on your upper, screw you, I can't help you with any issues you have from here on out. I doubt it. They've been an exceptional company. I've got some other stuff there to review later on. But yes, Taccom feed ramp is a plus. It did help cycling, but that little transition, man, that just made it exceptional. I'm excited. Anything that I have that will not run 100% on any trash I'll feed it is kind of disappointing. This ate the aluminum case, steel case Monarch that was not lacquer coated. I won't run lacquer if I can help it. It was polymer coated. It ran my hand loads. It ran ball ammo. Like, if it wouldn't have ran ball ammo, that would have been counterproductive. It ran flat tip hollow points. It ran everything. So for peace of mind, I will take it back out later and I will run some more junk through it. But for now, and do it. Like I said, I'm hoping this gets out to some guys that are maybe have some headaches or maybe total just epic dumpster fire problems getting an AR9 to run, maybe this will be your solution, man. 20 bucks plus some shipping, a little bit of patience because it's going to take a few days to get there depending on who you order it from, and your know-how. You need your know-how. I mean, I machined this thing to where it's, I don't want to say it looks factory, but it's pretty dang close. I wasn't shooting for perfection. I was shooting for getting it exactly level with the rest of the system, so it would sit right and look flush and not catch an eye, and it does. I mean, you can see it if you're looking for it, a little shiny guy, but from the side, I mean, I don't want it to be obvious. You don't want it to be loose and fitting like crap. So there you go, boys. Hopefully this does something for you and you can get down in there and make some things happen. If you got one that's unreliable, you get 100% if you want to keep that Glock dedicated lower. All right, thanks for watching. All right, we're out here experimenting with this Taccom feed ramp that I added to the Palmetto State Armory Glock dedicated lower system. It is so far working with some of these are the ones I was having issues with. This was Ammo Valley Special. This is reasonably priced. I found they were not feeding reliably in my Glock dedicated lowers from PSA, and I went ahead and did a little bit of research, and I can show you the let's see here, this little guy right here, that's the addition to it. That is the Taccom feed ramp. I did modify it, and it still wasn't quite right, so I did modify the feed cone, and basically the transition between the flat of the barrel into the actual chamber, I don't know what angle it is, but it's got that little sharp corner in the transition, so I went ahead and polished that down a little bit. That's in line with where it would line up. The older, I guess, PSA hybrid 9mm bolt, it does have an issue with running into it. Chad Wiley of PSA told me that was an issue with that Colt mag lower, which I'm fixing to try next. I wanted to try one, been wanting one for a while. Finally, I didn't know they had brought them back. They've been back since late last year, so I jumped on that, got one. Fixing to throw that up next, but so far this thing just ate 33 rounds of stuff that in the past was an issue 3, 4, 5 times in a magazine, easily, at least 5 times probably. And right now I've got eaten everything that I just put through it. I'm gonna try some steel case, some crap. Just, you know, I like to know if a rifle system or pistol system will eat garbage. If it can't eat garbage, it's kind of lackluster, because what if that's all you can get, you know? So, all right, stay tuned with it. All right, that's all I got. I know it's quite the long, drawn-out video, but you know, hopefully it's got plenty of mumbling just for your pleasure on covering this thing. So, thank you for tuning in. Hopefully, this helped out a lot of people. I mean, if it helped out one guy to make his life easy on these issues, that's great by me. So, hope y'all look forward to more video. Give me some time. I'm gonna upgrade my video and audio and video equipment, because right now it sucks. I'm trying to go back and watch what I'm uploading, and I'm trying to upload in a higher definition, and it's grainy and it looks like just trash, and it's killing me, but I'll get there. I'm sorry I don't have any footage for this particular system in case someone wants to see it, but yes, it was 100% reliable with everything I put through it. So, all right, look out for my next videos if y'all are interested. Thank you very much for watching.